Right now, I want you to imagine one of the wildest hypothetical scenarios out there. A battle between one grizzly bear and 100 men. Who would win? Could 100 humans working together take down the raw power of a grizzly bear? Or would nature, in its most primal and terrifying form, prove that numbers don't mean everything? Let's break it down. The grizzly bear, an apex predator of North America, one of the largest carnivores on the continent, standing up to 8 feet tall on its hind legs and weighing as much as 800 pounds. Its sheer strength is incomprehensible. A single swipe from its paw can crush a human skull. Its bite force, over 200 pounds per square inch, powerful enough to snap bones like twigs. Its teeth are designed not only for tearing flesh, but also for grinding through plant material, giving the bear versatility as both a predator and scavenger. And then there's its speed. You may think that a creature this size might be slow, lumbering. But grizzlies can charge at speeds of 35 miles an hour. That's as fast as a racehorse. On top of all this, the grizzly bear is fiercely territorial, with a fight-or-flight response that almost always leans toward fight. The moment this bear feels threatened, it becomes a relentless force of destruction. Now let's consider the other side, 100 men. The average adult male weighs roughly 180 pounds, stands about 5'9", and has a decent capacity for problem-solving and teamwork. But physically, humans pale in comparison to the bear. Our bite force generates only about 160 pounds per square inch, not even close to the grizzly's crushing capabilities. Unlike the bear, we lack claws, sharp teeth, or any natural defenses. What we do have, though, is one major, potentially game-changing advantage: numbers. One man versus a grizzly bear? It's over in seconds. Two men wouldn't last much longer. But 100 men? That's where the dynamic shifts. It's not about strength anymore. It's about strategy, coordination. Imagine it, a grizzly bear surrounded by 100 men in a wide open field. Some would hang back, nervous, unsure of what to do. Others would rush forward impulsively, fists swinging, screaming, thinking their bravery might make a difference. Spoiler alert, it wouldn't. And let's be honest, sheer chaos. Against a single charging grizzly, those men would likely be struck down instantly. Between its claws, its momentum, and its absolute disregard for mercy, the bear could tear through dozens like they were paper dolls. But here's the thing, 100 people is a lot. Even with panic and disorganization running rampant, there's bound to be some who stay level-headed, some who see the bigger picture and realize the only way to stop the bear is through teamwork, through tactics. Let's assume these men have no weapons, just their bare hands. But here's the thing, 100 people is a lot. Even with panic and disorganization running rampant, there's bound to be some who stay level-headed. Some who see the bigger picture and realize the only way to stop the bear is through teamwork, through tactics. Let's assume these men have no weapons, just their bare hands. One potential plan: overwhelm the bear with sheer numbers. If several men rushed it simultaneously from different angles, its attention would be split. While it's tearing into one group, the others could try to grab hold of it, pin its massive arms, attempt to hold down its head, claw, bite back, do whatever they could to restrain it. But even then, it's not an easy fight. A grizzly bear is pure muscle. Even with dozens of humans piling on top of it, pinning it to the ground is no small task. The bear's strength makes it capable of throwing attackers off like rag dolls, and despite their overwhelming numbers, panic would spread quickly. After seeing the damage inflicted by the bear, bloodied faces, fractured bones, men screaming in terror, many might break formation, retreating out of sheer fear. Or consider this. Maybe a different strategy comes into play. Perhaps the men create a distraction. One group lures the bear away while another tries to mount an attack from behind. But even then, timing would be key. And let's not forget, the bear runs faster than a human can. If it decides to chase, there's no outrunning it. Let's say, for argument's sake, the bear is overwhelmed. Pinned down by sheer numbers, maybe 30 or 40 men somehow manage to hold it in place. The remaining 60 press their weight against its limbs, trying to immobilize it entirely. Is it possible to keep this bear subdued long enough for exhaustion to finally kick in? Maybe. But that leads us to another crucial question. How many casualties would occur before this point? One swipe of the bear's paw can kill, its bite can kill. Even a charge into the crowd can send men flying, breaking ribs and skulls in the process. When faced with such raw power, how many would have to sacrifice themselves just to get close? 10, 20, 50? At what point do the numbers stop being an advantage and start being a liability? There's also the psychological factor, fear. Humans are intelligent, yes, but we're also victims of our own minds. Many of us would freeze at the sight of blood or at the screams of others being torn apart. Once panic sets in, chaos only grows, and that's the kind of disorganization that a grizzly bear thrives on. And here's one last wild card to consider: the bear's instincts. Grizzlies don't just fight to kill, they fight to stay alive. This bear would be attacking with one singular purpose: to eliminate any and all threats to itself. Every move it makes would be calculated for destruction. On the other hand, the humans, many would be reacting emotionally, thinking impulsively, acting in fear, hesitating when faced with the reality of violence. This gives the bear an edge that not even numbers can fully counter. Of course, this scenario changes drastically if the men were given weapons. A stick, a rock, even something as rudimentary as a spear could give humans a fighting chance. With weapons, the men could keep their distance from the bear, striking strategically without risking their bodies as much. But without weapons, it's almost entirely a battle of brute force versus strategy, and let's be real, strategy often falls apart in the throes of panic. So what's the verdict? Who wins? Well, it's hard to say. In a perfect world where every man coordinated perfectly, exhibited no fear, and worked together to overwhelm the bear, maybe they'd stand a chance. But realistically, the chaos would be their downfall. The bear's strength, speed, and primal instincts would tear through their ranks like a hot knife through butter. At best, the group might inflict enough injuries on the bear to significantly weaken it, maybe even kill it eventually. But it would come at a devastating cost. Scores of men would lie broken, bloodied, and lifeless long before the bear took its final breath. One grizzly bear versus 100 men? It's a fascinating question because it forces us to confront the harsh reality of nature's overwhelming power. Numbers might feel reassuring, but when faced against a force of nature like a grizzly bear, even the largest human group begins to feel incredibly small.